Hello everyone, this is the World of Book Reviews. I'm Judy Mario, I'm your host, and tonight we have an exceptionally interesting guest, Dr. Jeffrey McGee. Thank you, Dr. McGee, for being here with us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Dr. McGee wrote this incredible book called Your Trajectory Code, and there's a lot we need to learn from this book.
It's a fun book. Yeah, it's interesting. This is the only personal kind of success-focused book I've written out of 23 books. Typically, I live in the business world, and one of my clients a couple years ago, she was sharing with me the premise of this book is a model called trajectory. It's a trajectory code diagram that we use in business. And she said, you know, I was having a challenge with one of my two boys, and I sat down, and so she starts using my language. She goes, one of the boys is kind of going off on the wrong trajectory, and I sat down and explained the model to my husband. He liked it, we liked it. So we sat down as a family with our teenage boys, and as a family, we came up with answers for one of the two sides of the trajectory, which represents success, and the other one is derailment. We put those answers on a piece of paper, put that paper on a refrigerator with a magnet, and it's changed every conversation in our house. Now it's kind of the light bulb moment that there's something there, and that's what kind of led to writing that book.
And that led to writing the book.
Absolutely.
So tell us what it means, the trajectory code.
Well, you think of a V diagram. And so down here at the bottom where the two lines come together, think of it as a thumbtack on a wall. Two threads hanging straight down. If you take one thread and you kind of tack it up at trajectory point B, going off to the left, and the other one at C, going off to the right, there's a period of time where those two lines kind of are connected at the bottom and they start to go off on a distance. What I've recognized in the 30 years of studying the psychology of success, studying successful people, and having a chance to interact with phenomenal personalities from the last 3 presidents, last 4 first ladies, world leaders, writing books with phenomenal personalities like Sir Richard Branson, to small startup businesses in your local community that are successful. When I started realizing about all of those was something similar that you look and you study successful athletes and musicians and entertainers. And right at the bottom where those two lines are together and start to go up, there's a period of time where those two lines, if you tacked them on a wall with those 3 thumbtacks I talked about, that those two threads look like they're one on top of the other. I call that the 1% factor. And successful people have the innate ability to recognize that when they start to do anything, they extrapolate out forward in their head and recognize if I do this this way, if I say this this way, if I leave this voicemail, if I send this email, if I take this step, what trajectories are going to take me off onto? Will it take me to the left, which is derailment, a dead-end road, or will it take me to right, success? And by recognizing at the moment you start, if it's going to take you to success and you realize that that is the right pathway, you'll create more energy, more passion, more commitment, more success. But you also have the ability to recognize if I'm going on the wrong track, just 1% recalibration, you're right back on track. Most people never realize they're off track until they almost run into the wall of the dead-end road. And then it takes a lot of energy to get back on track. That's the basic premise of the model.
Amazing. And so in our family at home, how would we actually apply that?
And that's a great element. You know, there's a great parental adage that everyone's heard. I'll start it, help me finish it. Birds of a feather
flock together.
Flock together. And that adage is a great way of looking at your community, you know, your neighborhood, if you're involved in your church or PTA, your peer group, where you work, where you live. You said where we live back at home. Think about, again, how you interact with people, because that's a part of the trajectory code. Matter of fact, that's the first chapter in that book, is your question, which is what I've recognized, that when you look at people, people fall into 5 categories. I call it your fist factor. So where do you get your mental power, strength, and energy from? So that's why I play off of the word fist factor, and there's 5 fingers. What we realize in psychology is that there's really 5 types of people that influence your psychology, which will influence your behaviors, which will influence your actions, which will influence which trajectory you go on in life. And so when our parents say birds of a feather flock together, what you'll recognize is successful people in any industry don't hang around with losers. They may walk into a room with a bunch of losers and they'll be very polite, but they'll find a quick way to get out of there. But what's amazing, though, is that some people, they love, what's the old saying? Misery loves company. Gotta love an adage again. Let's plug down there. So back to your family. So in your family unit, you actually can influence the dynamic of the trajectory of that family. Either you all sit around the table, the living room, or outside or whatever, and you can complain about your station in life. You can complain about how everything is negative around you and have the, oh, woe is me conversation. That one is a good one. Everyone can complain about stuff. But successful people realize I can take that same time and energy, 1% factor, instead of going negative, let's go positive. If you don't like something, look in the mirror of life. I mean, Michael Jackson's song about the man in the mirror, the mirror is me. That's a great song if you dissect it from a standpoint of what are you seeing. So does it have an effect at home? Absolutely, absolutely. How do you take a conversation instead of complaining about it? What's the solution? If you don't like them, how do you fix it? If you don't like where you are, what do you do different? And again, the purpose of this show is all about books and the written word, which is phenomenal because, again, Benjamin Franklin had a classic line, which the person who empties their purse into their head will never be bankrupt. So if you want to change your station at life, at home, watch some TV, absolutely. But how about turn that thing off 1 hour a night and as a family sit down and you all read your favorite books and then take 15 minutes and just share around the room what you read and then turn the TV back on. That'll increase your station significantly.
Yes, yes. You know, when I was a young girl and I'd get in trouble with my parents, my dad would lock us up in the room with positive mental attitude books. And
I love it.
And he would make us give a book report when we came out, you know.
And look where you are today. That's my case.
Yeah, and here I am writing positive mental attitude books.
And at the time, you probably hated it. See, my dad did the same thing. He was retired military, so my older siblings had kind of a military-dependent lifestyle. But when I was growing up, he was a farmer and he sold insurance. And he had the Zig Ziglars and the Ogmandino and Earl Nightingale, all of the greats. And he had all of his kids listening to that too. So it was kind of like we thought we had died and went to you-know-where. We have to listen to all this motivational success. But it does have a huge impact. And there's a body of research that backs it up.
It does.
Again, let's do another silly adage. Garbage in,
garbage out.
Garbage out. So what you put into your mind has a direct correlation to where you're going to go.
Exactly.
I mean, I've had phenomenal musicians, rappers, rock stars, country. I've had athletes, phenomenal people that I've had a chance to interact with a magazine that we publish called Performance Magazine. And it's the same thing. What you start to realize is that all of these people, no matter where they came from in life, good or bad, they've ended up in a successful place because they took control of their trajectory. They took control of their family. They took control of how they look at things. They realize what's the formula to success and what do I need to gain to get there, because the only person you can bank on in life is yourself. Exactly. And once you can bank on that person, then you can help others. But if you can't take care of this, how do you help someone else? And there's far too many people worried about everyone else in life, and they're not taking care of their own laundry first.
What a good point, and a perfect point to take a break on, because while we're on break, I want people to think about that. We have to take care of self first, or we can't take care of anyone else.
Absolutely.
Dr. Jeffrey McGee, we're going to be right back after this message.
Peter is a businessman. He was worried about his business. He was thinking about its growth day and night. One evening, after a long day at work, he searched the web for some help. Next day morning, he received a call. Our creative team then visited him. We helped and launched him a new campaign. Our campaign made him a business star. A day by day, new clients come. Now his business is growing fast. We keep showing him a leading light. A light made his business bright. Now Peter is happy with his business life. His wife is having now happy life. Are you worried about your business life and wish you could be like Peter's life? Then visit us today for more information. We intelligently help your business soar to the top and stay there.
Welcome back. You're watching The World of Book Reviews with your host, me, Judy Morio, and my guest this evening is Dr. Jeffrey McGee. And Dr. McGee is a doctor of psychology, and he's written this incredible book, Your Trajectory Code, and it's all about how to make your life even better than it already is.
Thank you very much.
Now, it's interesting because chapter 13 in the book talks about the power of low expectations. Tell us about that.
It's very interesting, again, when you look at your trajectory and you identify what the code is that is part of your internal DNA that you live from. We live in a world today, sadly, where actually what we've done is we've calibrated everyone's performance bar down, and in some situations we've really calibrated the performance bar down to such a level, it's almost like it's on the floor. It's no more of a how far can you jump over it, it's just can you step over it. So the power of low expectations is exactly that, and we have to think about it. You go out to a restaurant that's a restaurant where you're going to sit down and they're going to bring you a menu and you're going to order your meal, and then from that, when you're done, you fill out the ticket receipt and there's an expectation to put a gratuity there. Most of us are inclined to put a gratuity no matter what the service level is. And even if the service level is really good, we still tend to go with what society says is the number. Is it 10, is it 13, is it 17, is it whatever the number is? Whereas, again, if you want to calibrate low expectations up, if I go somewhere and I get phenomenal service, I grossly overtip because, again, it's paid for performance.
Yes.
And if I go somewhere and I get really lousy service, I pay accordingly. And I have been known to leave zero. And sometimes people say, wow, you left me nothing. What's that all about? I just gave you the best performance advice you're probably going to get today, if not this year. You sucked, and I brought it to your attention. And no one has the guts to say that. We all raised the bar. I mean, I spent 2 years in first grade, so nothing in that book's going to be very tough. Now think about that statement, power of low expectations. I was not grasping grade 1 education. In society today, no, we don't want to hold anyone back. We're afraid it's going to hurt their self-esteem. No, your child's not bright and getting this stuff. Self-esteem's not the issue. Put them into second grade where their playmates get the ideas, they won't get those, so they start acting up. What they're doing behaviorally, psychologically, is they're deflecting attention away from the fact that I don't get this, I don't want anyone to see that I'm dumb. We misread it. Power of low expectation versus saying let's raise the bar. What we do in society is that we raise the bar seldom. Gallup organization even has a body of research to back up what I've just said in case anyone's been offended. Of course, the people who have been offended are the dumb people because they don't get it. So I'm a little bit obnoxious on purpose to illustrate the point.
Yes, I got it.
Gallup,
I got it.
You got it. So 56% of people. So Gallup did a survey where they looked at thousands of businesses. Okay, so for our viewers, what that means is tens of thousands of participants in this survey, which is massive. Most people will survey 10 to 100 people and call that a survey.
Yeah.
What they found was that 56% of people surveyed were disengaged and complacent in the workplace. That's the power of low expectation. We're not holding them up. We're not helping people to get up. People have realized actually what's the least I can do and still be seen as a rock star. 15% of people in the survey were actively disengaged. These are people that are passive aggressive. These are people that are always trying to pull you down and find 9,000 problems on the planet instead of solve something. 29% of people are the achievers. So again, power of lower expectations. We've created an environment where we're always lowering the bar. People know the rules, but we give them a pass. People know the law, we give them a pass. We always give people excuses for their non-ability to perform. So again, think about it. If all of us were treated, let's say, like a pro athlete, pro athletes get their performance review every time they take the playing field. You either win or you lose. There's no debate. It's real simple. And you lose enough times, you're no longer on the team. So again, imagine we brought that into the workplace. Typically in a workplace, we do performance reviews once or twice a year.
Yes.
That's because HR and legal said to do them. If we had a performance mindset, we would embrace performance reviews. If you were my boss, you're my business owner, I'd be coming to you and say, please give me feedback daily, weekly, monthly. Give me that official formal performance review every month so I can see how to become better. Mm-hmm. So if we want to reverse the power of low expectation, just look at all the things around you. We accept low. We get meals we don't like. We go to stores and get secondhand. We, in essence, wait in lines for people that are incompetent and not doing their jobs. People complain. Again, if you don't like the job, quit. If you can't quit, start doing the job.
Exactly.
We have a life and a planet of low expectations. We do it with our families. We do it with our friends. We do it with our environments we're in, and that's why it's chapter 13, if anyone ever gets that chapter.
Yeah, but I like it. And it's interesting that it is chapter 13.
You got it.
Because that's kind of supposed to be our unlucky number, right? But it's so true what you say. I remember, as speakers, we kind of are judged on our performance every day. In
Pro
fact,
athlete world you live in, exactly right.
I mean, we get those evaluations back at the end of every program. And I've worked with a lot of organizations where people say, wow, if this organization goes under, I'm going to be out of work. And I say, well, think of it this way. Every day I'm out of work. The minute we do our performance as a speaker, the next day we're looking for another job.
Exactly.
And so you should be performing that way. You should be thinking in terms of, am I doing such a great job? I'm keeping this business in business.
If everyone had a mindset of wanting to be that super achiever on the team, and again, super achiever for what is the reality DNA inside you. Not everyone can be, in essence, the number one player in everything, but you can be the number one player in your thing.
Right.
And if everyone on a team identifies what their strength is, and you brought that together, then every team would win. And this concept of a business going out of business would never happen.
No.
Because if you think about it, everyone who's in business should have the mindset to say, okay, historically, what have we been doing that got us here today? Respect that, celebrate that, and thank the people behind us that made that happen, because that's why we're here today. But the market needs of today will tell you what you must do. But if you're smart, you're always recognizing, where's the market going to be tomorrow, and how do I help myself, my team, my company to be ready for it?
Exactly.
A lot of people have jobs, and the reality is, just the reality of this planet, there's a lot of jobs today that will be obsolete in the future, because either the job itself is just going to evolve away, or it's going to be automated. So therefore, what's the new reality I can bring to the company? But a lot of people, they sit on their hands. They're that 56% that Gallup talked about, that's disengaged and complacent, and realizing what's the lowest amount of work I can do and still get paid, because we accept that, versus getting everyone involved. I like it when people have skin in the game. Gotta love another adage. So how about create a work environment where everyone has the ability to have a profit share kind of a responsibility? If the organization makes money, we all make money. It's amazing. People would come to work with their head in the game. But what happens is that people just don't care, because they've been beat up, or they think they have. People around them have been beat up, or they think they have. And a lot of us that think life is tough, it is only the life you created. So if you don't like it, quit bitching about it and do something different.
Move on, right? Dr. Jeffrey McGee, thank you for
Thank you very
spending the
much.
time with us and telling us about your wonderful book. And I hope you'll come back and be with us again, because I know you've got a bunch of other books we'd love to talk about.
I'd
on
love
this
to come
show.
back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching this evening. Go out and get this book. I think you're going to find that it's going to make a big difference in your life. It's definitely going to make a big difference in mine. So thank you for being here, and thank you for spending the evening with us at the World of Book Reviews.